everybody, this is James with the RPG channel, and going to be showing you a couple of different demos tonight that I have for the Xbox Live Arcade. Alright, first one I got is Deadliest Warriors, the game, based off the television show on Spike, which is surprisingly popular. Okay, not being a fan of the show, I really didn't know what to expect going into this demo, other than the fact that I would be picking warriors and fighting them to see who's deadliest. This game promised fast-paced combat that was very deadly. In the demo, well, just about everything is locked. This is really the worst way to go about a demo for a game. You can pick from only one of two characters, the Spartan or the Ninja, if you remember that particular episode. It shows you which weapons you're going to be using, and I suppose in the actual full game you can customize your character a little bit, but here we get nothing. So, Spartan versus Ninja, here we go. Okay, I have tried to like this game, I really have. But to be fair, I just don't get it. And there's not enough in this demo to really keep me interested. The fighting is indeed fast and furious and exceptionally gory, but I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Sometimes I can kill my opponent with a single hit, sometimes severing a head or an arm or something like that, or in that case my leg. But I just really don't get this, and since it's a demo, it's supposed to pique my interest in everything, but it really doesn't. So, we'll try it again, be a Spartan again, Ninja again. With only these two classes to pick, there's just not a whole lot going on. Apparently there's a relatively deep system here, but you don't really get a chance to learn it or understand it or anything like that. I figured out that I can switch weapons and all that kind of stuff, but there's just not a whole lot in the way of strategy, and with only these two characters to pick, I really don't get an idea of how the game is balanced or really what constitutes a good strategy. In my opinion, they should have let you play with at least 4 of the classes, and you could say, well, that's half the roster right there. There's only 8 characters in the game, and I'm thinking, yeah, that would give me a pretty good idea about how the characters work, and might prompt me to want to learn more about them. I could see more of the system. But, as I pointed out, I can't even get to the practice mode, which presumably would teach me how to play the game. So right now I'm just button mashing and hoping for the best. And for a demo, this doesn't compel me to get the full game, so let's just leave that one behind. Okay, next game here is by Konami and is Castlevania Harmony of Despair. And while I might be biased here, being a big fan of the Castlevania series, I like this demo a whole lot better. You can only pick one character, Alucard, who if you played Symphony of the Night, then you will remember quite fondly. And if you didn't play Symphony of the Night, then you should. I went into this game with the highest of expectations, loving the Castlevania series and hoping for another side-scroller like Symphony of the Night, but knowing nothing about what the game was, and what I got was this thing. This is essentially a multiplayer Castlevania game, where if you have the full version you can select from a number of characters and try to beat a variety of stages, like this. If you haven't figured it out by now, everything on the screen is really small, which is my biggest gripe with this game. But I can kind of see why they did that because of the multiplayer component. but I'm not sure it needed to be that small. Maybe if I had a bigger screen it wouldn't be that big of an issue, but whatever. You are timed, obviously, in going through this level, and this first level here is actually a pretty good level to get started in. It offers quite a few different enemies to go up against and kind of see what the game has to offer. It's all familiar territory if you've played any of the Castlevania games before. And as you complete different sections of the game, you can open up these treasure chests, which will give you random item, a health bonus, some money, or an item. And the money would be cool because in the full game you can buy items and upgrade your character, but for the demo it's absolutely worthless. And the items are relatively mediocre at this point. I'm assuming that once you get going in the real game you get access to better items and things of that nature. But for here, you really just get the basics. All that being said, you get a good look at how the game is going to work, and you get enough to play around with to kind of get you interested. As you collect these items, you can't immediately equip them. You have to find sections of the map to re-equip your character at, and I really don't understand the point of that. Maybe once I get the full version I'll be able to understand that better, assuming I do get the full version. But for right now it's enough to get you started with. And lastly, we have this game called Limbo, which is a pretty simple game, but man is this thing dark. The graphics are about as bare bones as you can get, but still winds up being somewhat intriguing. You play this little kid who wakes up in the dark forests and apparently decides to go exploring. I'm not really aware there's even a story here. But basically you advance to the right through this really dark world. And one of the first things you will notice about this game is that just about everything kills you. Usually pretty graphically. Your character has about the same survivability as a human in a Call of Cthulhu game. And really, this could be a Call of Cthulhu game. You're really not given too many abilities or options or anything except interacting with your environment, which can be a frightening thing to consider when you think about how many things in your environment are actually going to kill you. So the game kind of has a trial and error type feel to it. But it isn't necessarily a bad thing, and you get a really large number of lives, so you're not even entirely penalized for your trial and error, other than just having to replay that particular segment over again. And I did notice that when you die, you typically respawn right before whatever it was that killed you. So you don't really have to replay a whole lot. It would be fair to say, I guess, that this game is full of surprises. It's just that most of those surprises kill you. That was dumb.
Oh god, what would be a good